Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Shiva Biram signing in to explain the electric field intensity due to an infinite line charge and also a sheet charge. In the previous session, we have seen the Coulomb's law and electric field intensity basics and also a few problems related to that. First of all, let me explain you how we can find out the electric field intensity due to an infinite sheet of charge at a particular point. In order to do that, first of all, I am going to consider a line charge having lambda coulombs per meter. So here I am going to consider a finite length of a line charge, and later on we shall extend to the infinite length. Here I am going to consider L as the length of the line charge, and our objective here is to find out the electric field intensity at this point P. Let me explain you the other parameters that we are going to consider here. dy is, first of all, we shall find out the electric field intensity due to this small differential length dy at this particular point. Later on, when you consider this whole length by doing integration, we can get the electric field intensity due to this complete line charge. Here this dy I am going to consider at a distance of y from this point, and say this angle is theta. The height of this point P from this line charge is considered as h, and if you observe the angles which are at the two ends of this line charge, this one is considered as theta 1 and this one is considered as theta 2. Obviously this would be 180 minus theta 2. As per the definition of electric field intensity at this particular point, I am going to write down the equation. E is equal to, E bar is equal to, so as we are considering dy a differential length, this would be dE. The charge, let us say charge is q by 4 by epsilon naught into, consider r as the radial distance between this differential charge and the point P, into r square into AR bar. So AR bar is the unit vector along this radial line. So here, when we consider only the magnitude of this one, we are going to have dE is equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square, and we know q is nothing but the charge which we can calculate. So here lambda is the coulombs per meter, hence we are going to have the value of q as equal to lambda into this small length is given as dy. So here the charge q is given as lambda into dy, hence dE is going to be equal to lambda dy divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. Here the direction of dE will be along this radial line, so this is going to be our dE bar, and when this dE bar is divided into two components, so this angle will be equal to theta. So when this is theta, we are going to have this component as dE bar cos theta along this axis, or you can say along y axis, and this component is going to be dE bar sin theta. So let us find out these two components now. Here, in order to simplify this, what I shall do as a first step is I find out r and this small length. So whatever this small length is there, let us say this is y, and consider this length as k. Then obviously this length will be equal to k minus y. So say this is point A and this is point B. Now ABP is a right angle triangle. So this is point P. In the right angle triangle ABP, we have, I am writing down the trigonometric ratios here. This is the angle theta we are going to have. K minus y divided by h is going to be equal to cot theta, and we are going to have k minus y is equal to h cot theta. And if you differentiate on both sides, we are going to have k is a constant, it will be 0 minus dy is equal to, and differentiation of cot theta, we know that minus cosecant square theta into d theta. So minus minus gets cancelled each other, and we are going to have dy is equal to h cosecant square theta d theta. And when you find out with r in terms of h, we are going to have this is sin theta is given as h by r, and we get capital R is equal to h cosecant theta. Substitute these two values, dy and r, in this equation. We are going to have dE is equal to lambda multiplied by dy, we have calculated it as h cosecant square theta d theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. R is h cosecant theta, so square it becomes h square into cosecant square theta. So this cosecant square theta in the numerator and in the denominator cancels each other, and h and square. So we are going to be left over with this is equal to lambda divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into h d theta. So this is actually the differential electric field intensity dE, and when you want to find out dEx bar or dEx along the x-axis, we are going to have dE sin theta. So lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught into h sin theta into d theta, and when it is integrated we get the total value. So I am integrating it on both sides. Here we have to consider the limits of this theta. Observe here, theta is going to vary from so this is the upper limit and this is the other limit for that. So this is theta 1 and this is 180 minus theta 2. So here I am writing down it as theta 1 to 180 minus theta 2, and the integration of sin theta is going to become minus cos theta. So lambda divided by 4 pi epsilon naught h, so minus I am taking it outside, cos theta between the limits theta 1 180 minus theta 2. So if we simplify this, we are going to have lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught into h cos theta 1 plus cos theta 2.
This is the electric field intensity along the x direction, Ex bar. Or if you consider the magnitudes, we are going to get only Ex. Similarly, if you find out the electric field intensity in the other direction, we are going to have dEy is equal to lambda divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into h cos theta into d theta. And when it is integrated on both sides, we are going to have same again between the limits of theta 1 to 180 minus theta 2, we get lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught into h sin theta over a period of interval of theta 1 to 180 minus theta 2. And once we simplify this, we are going to have Ey as equal to lambda by 4 pi epsilon naught into h, and we get sine of theta 2 minus sine of theta 1. So this is the case. These are the two resultant electric field intensities we are going to get along x direction and y direction when we consider a finite length of the charge L. But when infinite length is considered, you can see here theta 1 and theta 2, these two are going to become equal to 0. Means when the length goes on increasing, theta 1 and theta 2 both decreases. As soon as this length is going to become infinite, these two angles are going to become equal to 0. Hence, the Ey component is going to become equal to 0 because sin theta 2, sin 0 and sin 0. So this term is going to become 0 for infinite charge or infinite line charge. And when you consider the Ex component, we are going to have cos 0 plus cos 0, 1 plus 1, it becomes equal to 2. So here, when you consider infinite line charge, we get the total electric field density E as equal to Ex, which is lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught into h. And when we consider the vector component, we are going to have E bar as equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught into h into an cap, where an cap is the unit vector perpendicular to the infinite line charge. So that is how we can find out the electric field intensity due to an infinite sheet of charge. Next we shall see the electric field intensity due to a sheet of charge. Now we shall find out the electric field intensity of a sheet of charge at a particular point. Here we consider this as a circular disk having a charge density of rho coulombs per square meter. Let me explain you the parameters we are going to consider here. H is the perpendicular distance from the center of the disk from P, where we have to find out the electric field intensity. And here this entire disk can be considered as having a small disks. It's a combination of, it can be considered as a combination of a smaller disks like this having a differential radius of dr. I mean to say small radius of dr. Here I am considering a circular portion of disk having a differential radius dr at a distance of r from the center, and capital R is the radial distance from dr to the point B. And once we find out the small electric field intensity dE because of this circular portion, we can extend the small electric field intensity to the complete disk by integrating over the theta from theta is equal to 0 to this entire angle. Let us consider this entire angle as some alpha. Here I am writing down the formula. The electric field intensity dE, because of this smaller portion of this disk, is given as dE bar is equal to rho ds, where ds is the surface of this smaller portion element, divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. R is the radial distance here, and AR bar is the unit vector along this direction. If you observe carefully, this dE bar here can be divided into two components. One is horizontal one, another one is vertical one. So this angle is theta here, because as this angle is theta, this also will be equal to theta. The horizontal component is going to be dE bar. So this will be dE cos theta and this will be dE sin theta, and this component will be dE cos theta. And whatever the horizontal component is there because of this small element, this is going to be neutralized by the opposite component onto the right hand side. So obviously the resultant horizontal component is going to become equal to 0, and we will be left over with only the vertical component, which is equal to dE cos theta as the electric field intensity. Hence the resultant electric field intensity, if you consider the magnitude alone, we are going to have dEy, that is the vertical component, which is given as rho ds divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square cosine of the angle theta. Let me explain you once again. Here the horizontal components are going to be neutralized because whatever electric field intensities we are going to get onto the left hand portion, they are going to be neutralized by the elements which we consider onto the right hand side. Hence we will be left over with only the vertical component here that we have written. Okay, now ds, the surface area, the differential area is going to be given as this is the disk we have considered, and the value, the magnitude of ds is going to be equal to 2 pi r into dr. So here if you write down the magnitude of d is equal to rho into 2 pi r dr divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square cos theta. Here also we do the same that we have done for the previous example. We convert all these things into the h component and also theta component. We know that if you find out the trigonometric ratio within this right angle triangle, we are going to have tan theta as equal to, here I am writing down, tan theta is equal to r by h. So we get, that implies r is equal to h tan theta, and if we find out differentiation on both sides, we are going to have dr is equal to h into, if we differentiate tan theta with respect to theta, we are going to have secant square theta d theta. So this is what we are going to have the magnitude of dr. And similarly you find out, see here, r and h is going to be cos theta. If you find out, cos theta is equal to h by r, and from this we are going to get capital R is equal to h by cos theta, or you can write it as h secant theta. Now substitute these two parameters here. R is equal to h secant theta and dr is equal to h secant square theta d theta. Now we are going to get I am writing down the equation here. So dE is equal to rho multiplied by, so here 2 pi and we will be left over with 2 rho by 2 epsilon naught multiplied by r is h tan theta and dr is h secant square theta into d theta into cos theta divided by r square. R is, here we have written r is h secant theta, so r square gives us h square secant square theta. So here secant square theta gets cancelled each other, h into h square, so h square, and we know that tan theta is sin theta by cos theta. Already we have got one cos theta, so we will be left over with finally rho by 2 epsilon naught into sin theta into d theta. So this is the magnitude of the differential electric field intensity, and when it is integrated over a period of theta is equal to, so from this portion to this portion we have to find out. From theta, when we consider the center portion, theta becomes equal to 0, and as we move along this radius, theta becomes equal to alpha. Hence the limits will be from 0 to alpha. So if you find out the total electric field intensity E due to the sheet of the charge on the disk, rho by 2 epsilon naught integral of 0 to alpha sin theta d theta. So this is going to give us rho by 2 epsilon naught sin theta. We know it is going to become cos theta between the limits of 0 to alpha, and this is equal to rho by 2 epsilon naught multiplied by, so 1 minus cos alpha. This is what we are going to get the electric field intensity at the point P because of this circular disk. And when you extend this particular concept to infinite sheet of charge, so when you consider infinite sheet of charge, this length is going to the sheet is going to extend along this direction towards infinity. Hence theta is going to have the variation between from 0 to, and as it moves, it goes on, it becomes parallel to that. Hence 0 to pi by 2, 0 to 90, alpha becomes equal to 90 degrees here. Hence we are going to have, for infinite sheet of charge, alpha becomes equal to 90 degrees. Hence the magnitude of electric field intensity is cos 90 is equal to 0. We are going to have rho by 2 epsilon naught. This is the magnitude, and if you consider the vector, we are going to have an bar, where an is the unit vector perpendicular to the disk. So along this direction we are going to have the electric field intensity. So that is how we have to find out the electric field intensity due to infinite sheet of charge. That is all for this session. In the next session, I will be explaining a few problems related to the electric field intensity of line charge and sheet of charges. Subscribe to my channel for getting more updates and videos. And this is Shiva Biram signing off. Thank you.